In most workplaces, when someone's unable to work, a colleague can often step in to provide cover, but when it's a doctor and people are still needing to be treated, hiring a locum is often the only choice. However, hiring a locum can be very expensive, which is why it's important to have insurance to cover the costs of this. Today I'm at the Wesleyan Insurance Society's head office in Birmingham to meet with Graham Layfield. He's going to highlight some of the key issues which have to be considered when choosing locum insurance.
Hi Lalah, my name's Graham Layfield. I am the National Account Manager for Group Locum for Wesleyan Medical Sickness. I know that you wanted to talk today about some of the key points to consider when considering locum insurance for a GP practice.
And what are the typical rates for a locum?
Well, they can actually vary quite dramatically across the country. In the 2012 Medeconomics survey, costs were put in some parts of the country as high as £800 for a day. So although a couple of days absence may be manageable, it's very, very easy for costs to very quickly run into thousands and potentially tens of thousands of pounds. So having a plan to meet those costs and liabilities is essential for every GP practice and the individual partners themselves.
Who exactly is liable for locum costs?
Well, actually GP practices are responsible for covering any absence for a doctor for up to 12 months. But the actual cost of who pays for that is determined by each practice's partnership agreement. Partnership agreements will generally create a mixture of liabilities, some shared business-based liabilities, and in some cases, most cases, personal liabilities for the partners after a set period of time. Because GP partners will often regard this as something to do with the practice, something to do with the business, and believe that protection and planning is a protection for the business, they'll often delegate the task for arranging that to a practice manager, whereas what actually is the case for many partners, it's a personal family income protection issue and a task that they should be responsible for themselves.
And who should pay the premiums for any cover?
Again, that's dictated by the practice's partnership agreement. As I mentioned, the partnership agreement creates a mixture of shared and individual liabilities. So shared liabilities for the partners should be something which is a shared cost and a business expense, whereas typically the individual liabilities will be costs met by the individual partners themselves. You can take a single plan to cover all of these liabilities, shared and individual, but the decisions on what to do will typically be group ones for the shared liabilities, but individual decisions for the individual liabilities, particularly because those individual liabilities affect the individual partner's own family income rather than the business costs.